about setting goals, working hard, and sticking to your values. Whether it was on the football field, in the woods, or in the world of finance, Rod Barker went on to become a financial advisor with Edward Jones, where he's been helping families plan for their future for the past 11 years. Just last year in 2024, he became a limited partner with the firm, which is a pretty big deal in that field. Rod lives in Short Gap, West Virginia with his wife, and between them they have 3 sons and 3 grandkids, plus another one on the way this fall. Rod grew up on a small farm in Ritchie County, graduating from the last class of Harrisville High School in 1986, before it merged with Pennsboro to create Ritchie County High School. He attended here, Mountaineer Boys State, in 1985, a resident in Kanawha. He brought his editions of the Mountaineer newspaper with him from 1985, and he still has those with him to prove it. Showed them to me earlier. After high school, he played football at Glenville State and later found his passion in helping others make smart financial decisions. In his free time, Rod is into hunting, fishing, golf, and all things WVU athletics. Edward Jones, as you can see behind me, is a very generous financial supporter of West Virginia American Legion Mountaineer Boys State. You will see their information shared in the back of your manual, and all of those financial advisors listed contributed to the program independently. So huge thanks to Edward Jones, and with gratitude and appreciation for their support, I'm here to speak on their behalf is Rod Barker.
Good evening, gentlemen and counselors. Is this one? I'll start again. Good evening, gentlemen, counselors, and thank you, American Legion, for presenting the Mountaineer Boys State. As Chris said, 40 years ago, I was in this dining hall. Like much of you, I didn't know what I was doing here when I came here. And it looks like things have really progressed well. I know one thing in 1985 they didn't have was the career path. And I would say if I had that choice back in 1985, I probably would have picked the journalism career path, because at that time, playing football, my dream was to be the play-by-play announcer for the NFL on CBS Sports, get to go to all the games, see all the cheerleaders, things of that nature. That was kind of my dream. But shortly after I attended Boys State my junior year, I went back home, getting ready for football practice in August, and my granddad said, "Hey, I want you to come down the farm and work with me a little bit." So he had me baling hay, putting up barbed wire fences, painting barn roofs with aluminum paint. If you've never done that, you get suntan from both sides at the same time. So that was an experience. But one day, probably about one weekend after I got started doing all that, I was making $3 an hour, working 10 hours a day with him. He gave me breakfast and lunch. I ran into one of my friends in Harrisville, and he's asking about Boys State, and I was telling him, you know, what I got to do, who all I got to meet, met some other football players from some of the other high schools we'd be playing that fall. And said, "So what are you doing? What are you doing this summer?" He said, "Oh man, I got a great job." He said, "I'm working lifeguard over at North Bend State Park. I get to sit in the shade under the umbrella, watch the girls in the bikinis all day long, make $4.25 an hour." So I thought, wow, I'm going to have to renegotiate this contract with Grandpa Monday afternoon when I get back. Only thing watching me work is red-faced heifers watching me paint the barn roof. So Monday afternoon, I told Grandpa, I said, "Hey, Grandpa," I said, "I want to talk to you a little bit about what I'm making here." I said, "I got a buddy. You know, he gets to see girls all day long. He's making $4.25 an hour, and I'm out here sweating all day long, making $3. I think you ought to pay me a little bit more." So I give you free lunch. Well, yeah, but I mean a little more money. I'd like to make a little more money. He said, "I'll tell you what, I'll give you a little homework assignment. We're cleaning up." He said, "You come back tomorrow and tell me how you want me to pay you for the next 30 days. He said, 1, you work 30 days, I'll give you $1 million. The other choice, you work for me for 30 days, I'll pay you a certain price the first day, and I'll double it every day for 30 days. The issue is, the first day you work 10 hours, you only make a penny. You tell me tomorrow how you want to get paid. All right, so I went home. On the way home, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, a penny, 2 cents, 4 cents, 8 cents, 16 cents, 30. A week, I'm only up to $1.27. So I'll play it out for another week. So I played the numbers out, doubled it again, come up to like $167. So I threw that aside, went ahead, went to bed, watched the TV, got up next morning. Next morning he says, well, how do you want me to pay you? I said, well, obviously I got to take the $1 million. That'd be stupid taking, a penny doubled every day for 30 days. And he said, nah, he says, come here. He got a pencil out and he started writing it down. I had the numbers with me, but I didn't want to bore you with all that. But I challenge you all to go home, double a penny for 30 days, see how much you make. It's quite a bit more than $1 million. So that kind of got me thinking about compound interest, how things can double, and what can you do in life that can make you some money. Number one, you got to remember, everything's possible. You guys are leaders if you're here. You've been selected to be here, so you're a leader in your community. Take advantage of that. Be teachable, be coachable. Use that. And one thing that I found out was you can also make those numbers go backwards. I mean, you can double it and get way more than $1 million, but be careful. As you get ready to enter life, what's the most expensive 2-liter bottle of soda that anybody's ever bought here? Throw some numbers at me. Anybody pay $2, $3 for a 2-liter soda? $5? Okay, that's pretty expensive. You're shopping at the big stop. So, most expensive 2-liter soda I ever bought, $38,000. Yeah, wow, that's exactly right. So how do you get a $38,000 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper? I was at college, Glenville, senior year, walking across campus in the cafeteria. Some guy has a little table out there, and he says, hey, you want to fill out a credit card application? I said, dude, I don't even have a job. I can't get a credit card. So I just fill one out. We're giving free sodas away if you fill out a card. So I was more interested in the soda than I was a credit card. But like I say, life happens. You go through school, go to college, get a job, get married, have kids, and when you start working, you don't make a lot of money because you don't have a lot of experience, but it starts building. Always, always invest. Because if you don't have expendable money. And that credit card turned into 2, then turned into 3, and before I could stop myself, I was up to $38,000 in debt. So first thing I did was find a financial advisor in town in Cumberland, Maryland, and talked to him about that. He said, we manage wealth, we don't manage debt. That got me thinking. It took me right back to Grandpa's little thing about doubling money. So I told him about that. I said, my grandpa had a thing where he doubled a penny for 30 days, and it came up to a lot of money. I said, how do you do something like that? And he says, well, do you have any old 401k plans, any places that you've worked before? See, I got a couple of them. I get statements on them every once in a while. I don't really pay much attention to them. So he showed me how to bring those into an individual retirement account, and he started talking to me about a Roth account. Start investing in a Roth IRA. It's money you've already paid taxes on. You invest it. It grows tax-free. You never pay taxes on it. I said, yeah, that's what I want. I don't want to pay taxes on anything. They get enough. You probably learned some about that this week. So got into a Roth IRA account and started investing that way. So just make sure. You guys are getting ready to start in life. And when I got my first job, that was one of the first things Grandpa said. If they have a retirement plan, if they give you free money, don't miss it. If you got to put in 4% to get 4%, put your 4% in. You won't miss it. Just start early. You got a long time to go. Matter of fact, has anybody heard of the rule of 72? Anybody in the banking class? Okay, some people's heard of the rule of 72. If you're not familiar with it, just think of it this way. If you have an investment, let's say it makes 10%. You've had it for a few years and it makes 10%. When you divide 72 by 10%, it comes out to 7.2. That should take 7.2 years for your money to double if you earn 10%. Now, if you're in something more conservative, like maybe a CD, I think back when I was here, CDs were 11 and 12%. They're like maybe 3 or 4 today. But if you did a 3% CD thinking that that's the way to save money, it is. But divide 72 by 3, it takes 24 years for your money to double. Okay? A good example is just I don't know if you know what a mutual fund is. I don't want to get too deep into investing here, but I'd like you to think about this. There's a mutual fund that this year, next month, will be 50 years old. It's a balanced mutual fund with American funds. It invests across a broad, you own Facebook, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, you own a lot of different stocks when you own this fund. And for the 50 years, it has averaged over 10%, which means if you started with $1,000 today and you went for 50 years, you'll be almost as old as me then. 50 years, you didn't touch it, it earned 10%, you'd have over $127,000. And that's not even adding money to it, just letting it sit there and grow. So to kind of wrap things up, I guess what I would challenge each of you guys to do here, take away something from this week that you've learned, something that you thought was a neat idea or something, and apply it to your life, and just keep building on that. Get yourself a mentor or an accountability partner, maybe somebody here. When I was here, we didn't have Facebook and smartphones to figure out, how to keep in touch with everybody that we met here. It was just you saw them on the football field or the baseball field the next year, and hey, I remember you at Boys State kind of thing. But get an accountability partner, maybe somebody in your cabin that you've met this week that you've built a good friendship with, and challenge each other. I mean, get invested, start early. That's the way to do it. There's 19,000 of us around the country. We're one of the largest firms. We are a partnership, so we're not owned by anybody. We are our own bosses. So we help folks prepare for college, save for special things, plan for retirement. It's not too early to start. I like to tell folks when I'm talking to my clients and they have their kids or grandkids with them, you guys have a lot of time, but you don't have much money right now, right? Folks like us, we got more money now, we just don't have much time. It takes a lot longer for us to save money to do that. And I've got calculators, and just about any Edward Jones office can show you how if you started with $1,000 and maybe did $150 a month, making 10%, 50 years you'd have about $1.25 million, tax-free. Don't have to take it out. So remember that. But I'll be around after this if anybody does have any questions. I saw some of the banking folks said they'd like to talk to me, the journalism folks. But enjoy your time here. You got a few days left. Try to learn something, take something back, and don't wait 40 years to come back. Thank you all very much.
One thing they definitely didn't have back then was the Mountaineer Boys State Challenge coin. So we'd like to present that to you on behalf of the program as a thanks for coming out this evening.
Thank you.
So we do have some announcements. All Boys Nation applicants, anyone who qualified for a Boys Nation interview, you need to check your email for your assigned interview time. Interviews begin this evening after dinner. Just a huge thank you comes from the kitchen staff, Tammy specifically, for anyone who helped out with the dropped pan this evening. Your kindness is much appreciated and exemplifies your character and willingness to assist here this evening. Can we keep side conversations down, please? Thank you. Much easier to operate this way. Talent show auditions. Tonight, immediately after dinner, will be in the Assembly Hall. That is for the West Fork River Review. And I was told by a couple of his friends that Eli Hasty has a birthday today. So do you think we should sing happy birthday to him? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.